Hi there, I'm Gabriel Morris, author of Following My Thumb, A Decade of Unabashed Wanderlust, which chronicles my funny, adventurous, bumbling adventures throughout the 1990s when I was in my 20s, or it starts when I was 18, on a trip to Europe for the summer, in the summer of 1990. So there's 26 different travel stories in here from around the world: Europe, United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and India. So I'm going to tell one of the stories here. Rather than read from the book, I'll just go ahead and tell the story in my own words in person. This is from the first part of the book when I traveled to Europe for the summer and hitchhike the whole length of the United Kingdom and Ireland, and then get a train pass and take trains around Europe and eventually make my way down to Greece. And so this is chapter 3. It's titled Those Beautiful Swedish Women. And I met one of those beautiful Swedish women, and wow, was she beautiful. So I was on a ferry going from Italy to Greece, and on the ferry then, it was a long ferry ride, and I sit on the outside deck of the ferry, kick back, throw down my backpack, and this gorgeously beautiful woman happens to walk by and sit right next to me, right nearby. The ferry was rather packed, and there weren't many spots. I don't know if it had anything to do with me or not, but she took a seat and hung out for the course of the ferry ride. Eventually, I think I was listening to my Walkman. Eventually, I got up the courage to say something to her, and we ended up talking throughout the course of the ferry, and then got off the ferry and into the little town, and then from there we caught a train to Athens. So we just kind of connected and ended up traveling together, and eventually ended up on the Greek island of Santorini. We actually headed straight there. Well, we went to Athens, caught a ferry from there, paid for a ticket to the very first island, and when we got to that island, we saw it from the, and I have no clue what island that was. We saw it from the ferry, and we were like, nah, it doesn't look that interesting. Let's go to the next one, even though we hadn't paid for a ticket to the next one. So we went to the next island. Again, we were like, nah, that doesn't look that great. Let's see what the next island looks like. What the heck? And so we did this, a series of 5 or 6 times or something, and finally, like 8 or 12 hours later, then it gets to the last island. We get off, and it's the island of Santorini, which happens to be one of the most beautiful Greek islands. And so then we went to a hostel, got a room together, and that evening, so we'd been together for just like a day and a half at that point. We'd pretty much traveled straight from the ferry to the train to Athens to the next ferry. We put our things away in the hostel, found a restaurant, and I describe in the book, here I'll grab the chapter there. So here's my description in the book. Her name was Johanna, and I would love to reconnect with her, but this was before the days of Facebook and email and everything. Johanna and I soon found a nice rooftop restaurant overlooking the black sand beach and the lapping waves, and ordered a couple of cold beers to sip while we languished over the menu. I was still adjusting to the concept of being able to legally drink alcohol since I was underage back home in the States. I still associated drinking a beer with my high school days of being sneaky and unlawful. I did my best to kick back, relax, and breathe in the warm evening breeze now that I had apparently found the exquisite island paradise I'd been looking forward to since my revelation in Paris, where I'd come from, and subsequent impulsive flight from the unrelenting drizzle. As my beer buzz thickened and reality began to seep slowly into my tired, travel-worn mind, I found myself drifting into one of those peculiar states of being in which you start to feel as if you're looking out at a panoramic movie screen before you, rather than actually leaving the scene around you. The woman sitting before me was a vision of beauty, as if she'd just stepped out of a fantasy film in which she reigned over a kingdom of unicorns and fairies. She had long, wavy, sandy blonde hair, a soft, vibrant face with deep, thoughtful brown eyes, and was wearing tight shorts over a faded red swimsuit that concealed firm and ample breasts. She was strong, independent, and intelligent, yet totally feminine and endlessly alluring. She was pretty much everything I desired in my wildest of romantic juvenile dreams. I'm sure that she would have made an excellent queen of the fairies. I just wasn't certain in that moment that I was prepared to be her knight in shining armor, should that be her expectation. Come to think of it, I wasn't quite sure how I'd ended up sitting there with her at all. So that's just a couple of paragraphs in the chapter, those beautiful Swedish women. So the story does not end with a climax, unfortunately, literally or figuratively. We hung out for a couple of days on Santorini, rented a moped, and went to on the moped with not all of our stuff, but just a couple, like our sleeping bags and some bread and cheese and a bottle of wine. And we drove on the moped over to this other beach that was on the other side of the island and spent the night sleeping next to each other on this beach. We went for a swim under the starlight. We got a little campfire going. We ate our bread and cheese. We drank the bottle of wine, and then we went to sleep and nothing happened. I was 18 at the time, highly inexperienced with women. I kissed one woman, I think, or girl I should say, because it was in high school. So I just didn't muster up the courage or the know-how to make anything happen there, which I have regretted for more than 20 years, because she was just one of the most beautiful women that I've met in my life, and very adventurous as well, which that's just an awesome combination. But still, it was a good time, and makes for a fun and interesting story. So if you're curious to read some more of my travel stories, Following My Thumb, A Decade of Unabashed Wanderlust. It's available on Amazon.com. Check out the link down below. Most likely it's on sale. So thanks a lot for watching, and have an awesome day. Take care.